Welcome to the Restorative Longevity Podcast, where we share how to increase your quality of life while also increasing your longevity. Yes, you heard that right. We refuse to believe that as we get older, our quality of life naturally declines. And that's exactly what you're going to hear on this podcast. How to defy the odds with simple, effective strategies that anyone can implement into their daily routine. From holistic health practices to time-tested wisdom, we're here to help you thrive, not just survive. Now let's welcome our host, Jimmy Yen, also known as the Acu-Sensei. Jimmy is a licensed acupuncturist, herbalist, nutritionist, and restorative longevity expert dedicated to guiding you on your journey to vibrant health and lasting wellness.
Today is a continuation of a previous podcast, and it is the one fat your brain needs, part 2, part dose. What is it? You need to eat more eggs. So what's the point of this podcast? Eat more eggs, eat more fish, eat more seafood. You want to get smarter? Eat more seafood, eat more eggs, eat more fish. You don't want to lose your memory? You don't want to become dumber? Okay. Mediterranean diet. That is the point of today's podcast. And why do I do this? This is in alignment with how I do podcasts. If those of you who are new to me and this restorative longevity podcast, I like to do things the completely opposite of the norm because the norm right now currently is not working. The U.S. spends the most money on healthcare technology research. These are for you research buffs. The U.S. spends so much more money on research, but yet we rank lower than 50 in the developed countries in the world. Our health, we are rated lower than 50. Some say 58, some say 60 something. So that just gives you an insight. Again, let me repeat this so you can really hear this. The U.S. spends the most money on healthcare. We have the latest technology. We have the best technology that can treat your health. We have the most resources. We've got the best physicians, some of the best physicians. We've got technology. We've got money. We've got resources. We've got the wazoo. You name it. And yet, we're not number one in health in the world. So that should make you think something, right? We have some of the best universities who spend millions and billions of dollars doing research. We have the best research in the US, but yet we are still ranked number 50 and lower in regards to health and longevity compared to other developed countries. Why is that, right? Because the norm of what's accepted right now in the US isn't helping. It is not helping the public improve their health. That's the fact, right? I don't think anybody can negate that fact. So let's come back to, this is a continuation to the one fat your brain needs, part 1. And so we left out talking about omega-3s, right? So let's go back and just review just a little, right? So there's the omega family is what we need, right? The omega families are the PUFAs, or the polyunsaturated fatty acids. So these are the fatty acids that are essential. That means we need to get them through our diet. We cannot make them. Our body does not make enough of them. It does not make them, right? So we actually need to eat these. Short, they're called PUFAs, P-U-F-A, polyunsaturated fatty acids. I'm just calling them PUFAs, right? So PUFAs are the omegas, right? The omegas, we've heard of omegas, omega-3, omega-6. Very quickly, what's the difference? Omega-6 are inflammatory. They increase inflammation, which is important when your body's getting attacked. You need omega-6s to help activate your immune system. We need those. But after the body destroys the enemy, it needs to go away. And that's where omega-3s come in. Omega-3s decrease the inflammation, right? They're anti-inflammatory. The problem with here in the U.S. in developed countries, I would just say mostly in the U.S. because the U.S. the health of Americans is terrible. It's terrible. We're ranked number 50 and lower, right, in regards to health. And this is compared to all other nations, all developed nations. And again, we have the most resources, but yet our health is terrible. So why is that? Because the American diet is full mostly of inflammatory foods, which are omega-6s. What is the ideal ratio that you need to eat that's going to actually improve your health, improve your brain quality, make you smarter, help you not lose your memory? It is a 2-to-1 ratio. 2-to-1 ratio, 2 omega-6 to 1 omega-3s, right? But what's the problem here in the US? We are eating 14-to-1, 20-to-1. That's the standard American diet. So when you start telling me, and I know I get worked up all over this because it's people. I'm not trying to debate research. Okay, you can say that I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that, right? Because you can find research that will disprove what I'm saying, and I can show you research that will disprove your research. So we're not debating research, right? And so what I like to base it off of is people that are actually living the life, and these are called the blue zone areas, the blue zone population. These are people, real life case studies, real life clinical trials, real life research. They are living past 100 years old. They have a high quality of life, better than 50 and 60 years old. I'm listening to what they're doing. I'm not listening to what a laboratory is telling me. I'm listening to people who are actually doing it and living a higher quality life. These are 100-year-olds have a higher quality life than 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds in the US. So I'm following them. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you this is the data that I'm giving you in this podcast based on real people living real lives, not in a controlled study and in a laboratory. That's not what I'm talking. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm a biochemist. I've done the research. I love research. Not saying that's wrong. I just prefer to live my life according to real people. I call reality-based research. So go back to omega-6 to omega-3s. Omega-6 to omega-3s is 2-to-1. 2-to-1, right? So every 2 grams of omega-6, you need to eat 1 gram of omega-3, right? But the US population, we eat 14 to 17-to-1, right? That's why we have the US, even though we have the most resources, we have one of the highest ratings of atherosclerosis, arthritis, vascular disease, autoimmune disease, chronic degenerative diseases. The US has the most of, all right, even though we have all the resources that can stop it. Alzheimer's, right? So we are going to omega-3s. There's 3 types of omega-3s. This is still a review. I know I haven't shared anything new. So I'm going through this fast. If you want more detail, go to part 1. Part 1 of the podcast, the one fat your brain needs, part 1. Okay. You have 3 types of omega-3s: ALA, EPA, DHA. Right. We mostly have heard of EPA and DHA. Right. EPA is mostly I would say it's to every other part of the body. E for every other part of the body. D for brain, right? DHA really helps the brain. ALA is a good source. It's a vegan source, but it needs to be converted to DHA, right? So there's an extra process. So into the last podcast with omega-3 is the number 1 nutrient. Omega-3s, I'm going to slow down a little. Omega-3s is the number 1 nutrient to fight age-related cognitive decline and dementia. So if you have a family history of dementia or cognitive decline, you're losing your memory, you can't think, you feel like you're getting stupider, you feel like you can't process data as quickly, you can't think as quickly as you were younger, chances are you're not eating a diet high in omega-3s, right? So yeah, omega-3s are essential fatty acids. Our brain does not produce it, so we need to get it in through our diet, right? This is what they found. People who consume omega-3 rich foods on a regular basis, they remain mentally clear and have a lower likelihood of developing cognitive disorders, deterioration, than those who consume less of these. So people who eat more omega-3s, they don't have a cognitive decline as fast as people who eat less, right? So if you notice that your brain is declining in your ability to think, you need to up your omega-3s. And I'm going to go and get into details of how much, right? Now, I'm going to give you conflicting research. I'm just trying to prove to you guys, for me, I don't hang everything based on research, because research can give you 2 completely opposite answers. Here's what I'm going to show you. brain MRI. So Lisa Mosconi, I think I'm saying her name right, Dr. Lisa Mosconi. She is the associate director for the Alzheimer's Prevention Clinic. Prevention clinic, not to treat Alzheimer's, but to prevent it, right? There's very few research and clinics and medical schools. This is out of the Weill Cornell Medical College in New York. Very few medical colleges are trying to prevent Alzheimer's. Most of them are trying to treat it, which you can't. I mean, you can't reverse it, right? After it's already developed. How you treat it is you prevent it from happening. So Lisa's in the forefront of preventing cognitive decline, your brain from declining. And so they did a brain MRI. So they imaged their people's brain, right? And this is what they found. This is very interesting. So it is commonly accepted by everybody. As we age, our brain shrinks, right? Our brain shrinks. And so this is what they found when they MRI'd people's brain. They scanned people's brain. They scanned thousands of dementia-free elderly people. Okay, so dementia-free, they scanned thousands of people. And this is what they found. Those who didn't consume enough omega-3s in their diet had an accelerated brain shrinkage. So out of thousands of people, elderly people who didn't consume omega-3s, their brain shrunk faster, which means they lost their memories, they lost their ability to think, or brain fog. They may have felt like they're just getting dumber, right? Because they just feel like they can't think as quickly as they were young. That's what happens with cognitive decline or brain shrinkage. And especially when they MRI the brain, especially the hippocampus. The hippocampus is the memory part of your brain, the memory center of your brain. So the hippocampus in the brain shrunk faster. So those who did not eat omega-3s, their hippocampus shrunk faster. They lost neurons, which means they lost nerve cells. Our brain is made of neurons, nerve cells, right? At an equivalent to 2 extra years of aging. Wow. So think about that. Elderly people who ate less omega-3s, they lost 2 years. So it's like they may be at 70 years old and their brain, right, they from 70 to 71, right? That's only 1 year, right? But these people lost 2 years each year. So they lost 4 years of cognitive abilities just because they didn't eat enough omega-3s, right? So you lose 2 extra years of intelligence. You lose because of what you eat, right? Or what you don't eat. So in other words, poor diets poor in omega-3s, especially DHA, increases the speed at which your brain ages, right? And this is what they found. So you're probably thinking, how much? So you're probably like, Jimmy, how much should I be eating of these omega-3s? Well, this brain MRI research shows that if you eat less than 4 grams of DHA, right? If you ate less than 4 grams of DHA, that showed the highest rate of brain shrinkage. So if you eat less than 4 grams of DHA every single day, your brain is shrinking the fastest compared to everybody else. And I'm joking and I'm not joking. I'm like, we're getting dumber, right? Now, why am I using this word? I'm using this word so I can create an impact to you. So it startles you, right? Because nobody wants to be dumber. I don't want to be dumber, right? But if you eat less than 4 grams of DHA every single day, you're getting dumber faster than everybody else around you who is eating more than 4 grams of DHA. So those who consumed 6 grams or more had the youngest appearing brains with an MRI scan. So they're scanning people's brain and watching what they eat. So 6 grams, that's the magic number. So those of you who are wondering, so how much should I eat? 6 grams of DHA to keep, right? 6 grams of DHA to keep your cognitive function from declining fast, right? Now, will your brain decline? Yes, but you can slow it down super slow. And that is exemplified by the blue zones. The blue zone people are 100 years old. Like we have people here in the US saying in their 60s and 70s, they're like, man, it's just old age. I mean, I can't remember everything. Oh man, I just can't think as fast. 60, 70-year-olds. People in the blue zones living past 100, they still can think quickly. Why is that? This is another podcast that I did. You need to go to the Perfect Diet podcast that I did. It's the Mediterranean diet. These people in the blue zones eat a Mediterranean diet. They're high in fish, seafood, which are high in omega-3s, which are high in DHA. So they are getting more than 6 grams of DHA. But the key is you need to get at least 6 grams of DHA, omega-3s, every single day, right? If you don't want to become dumber. Now, remember I said, I'm going to show you the opposite, right? I'm going to show you how research will confuse you. That's why, again, I personally don't put all my eggs in one basket on research. I look at research, I love research, but I don't believe all research because I'm about to show you. A randomized clinical study, majority of randomized clinical studies, clinical trials, right? They showed let me repeat that. They showed no significant change in cognitive health when they put people on fish oil supplements. Yes, let me repeat that. I didn't say that wrong. Randomized clinical studies, majority of them show that when you take omega-3s, your fish oil supplements, it doesn't improve your brain. It doesn't improve your thinking power, right? So that's just completely opposite from what I just said from the brain MRI study. So again, I'm sharing this to tell you, see, I'm not just sharing all things that I believe in and I think what I believe in is right. Now, I'm going to show you what is out there. It's for you to decide what you need, who you want to believe. It's your choice. I'm not here to make a choice for you. I'm here to give you the data, the information, all the information, even the information I don't agree with. I'm going to give it to you because I'm not here to make a decision for you. Most scientists, many researchers, many doctors, they want to make the decision for you. And how do I know that? Because they will tell you are wrong. I get that all the time. I even non-medical providers, I'll get comments in social media telling me that what I'm saying is wrong. There's always somebody trying to prove you wrong, okay? And that's okay. That's their opinion. But I'm here to help you get as much of the information as possible so you can make the best decision for you. I will tell you how I make decisions. That's not necessarily the right way, wrong way. It's just my way. And that's the way that I teach our patients, right? At my clinic. Okay, so randomized clinical studies fail to show that taking omega-3 supplementations actually improves your health. Now, here's what they don't tell you from those clinical trials, right? So see, again, you need someone who can understand how to look at clinical trials. Because if you're just looking at the results of the clinical trials and you're not looking at the process of how they conducted that clinical trials, then you will be misled, okay? Why do a majority of this research show that omega-3s do not help your brain function? Because here's a couple of reasons. Other research shows that the protective effects of omega-3s are particularly strong in people who got their omega-3s through eating food, not through supplements, through eating food. So you may think, oh, but it's the same thing. No, it's not. Just because an orange has vitamin C, a vitamin C pill does not equate to an orange. A vitamin C is not an orange because the orange, besides vitamin C, has fiber, it has all the other different vitamins, probably A and other vitamins, E, right? So a vitamin C pill is not the same as eating a whole orange. It is not the same. Likewise, a omega-3, a fish oil supplement does not equal a fish. There are so many other things in a fish that make it a fish. And it's the combination, just go back to the orange. You have an orange, God made animals, fruits, vegetables perfectly. They were, the fruit, an orange was grown perfectly in synergy. Yes, it contains vitamin C, but it also contains all other nutrients. All those nutrients together make an orange and include the fiber. It also makes the orange, right? You don't get any of that in a vitamin C pill. So you cannot say you take a vitamin C pill is the same thing as eating an orange. It is not. It's completely different. Same thing. You take an omega-3 pill, you take a fish oil pill, and eating fish is completely different. But these clinical trials, these randomized clinical trials, these scientists are going to tell you, oh no, eating fish isn't going to help your brain, because we did a study that says when a patient eats omega-3s in a capsule in a supplementation, it did not show improving of your brain function. So they say eating fish is not going to. You see how that's confusing, right? So again, you have to, you got to be careful about these research and how they do it, because research can be manipulated, right? Here's another reason why research can manipulate it. Many of these clinical trials that were done on fish oil supplementation, you know what the dosage was that they used for the fish oil supplements? They used less than 2 grams per day. They use less than 2 grams per day. Okay. Now, if you remember what I just said, in the previous brain MRI research, they found that if you eat less than 4 grams of omega-3s per day, your brain is shrinking faster than everybody else. Less than 4 grams. If you don't get a minimum of 4 grams, then that omega-3 ain't helping you, right? And what did these randomized clinical studies do? They did it 2 grams. It's half the minimum that's required just to maintain. So of course it didn't show that it worked, right? But again, people aren't going to tell you this. Physicians aren't going to tell you this. Scientists aren't going to tell you this. People who are against you taking omega-3s are not going to tell you this. They're going to say, hey, all these research, I have 10 randomized clinical studies that show taking omega-3s does not help with dementia. That's what they're going to tell you. And you're going to believe that if you don't do your due diligence. These clinical trials, they use 2 grams. 2 grams of omega-3s. Of course it's not going to work. That's like saying, you do chemotherapy. So I'm on this cancer, one of our specialty in our clinic, my team, is to help people with dealing with cancer, right? So let's just say there was a randomized clinical study on chemotherapy, a cancer medication, right? What if they just cut the dose of the chemotherapy to half? They only gave the participants of the study, they only gave 50% of it. 50% of the recommended dose in order to actually create a result. What do you think the result's going to show? It's going to show that the chemotherapy doesn't work for cancer. But of course, they're not going to do that because they want chemotherapy to show on research it works for cancer. Because that's the gold standard. They want you to get chemotherapy, right? Because pharmaceutical companies get paid. Now, pharmaceutical companies don't get paid if you take omega-3s. You eat omega-3s. They don't get paid. That's why they're going to do, many of these research are funded by pharmaceutical companies. They're going to show that eating fish is not going to improve your cognitive health. So what is the recommendation? So let's come back. You need at least 4 grams of omega-3s daily to keep your brain just as it is, just to maintain. 4 grams of DHA, omega-3s as it is. And that's not hard to get. How can you get that? 3 ounces of wild-caught Alaskan salmon will provide you 2 grams of omega-3s, which most of it is DHA. So you just need to eat 6 ounces of salmon, wild-caught, not farm-raised. You need to eat 6 ounces of wild-caught Alaskan salmon every day, and you will get 4 grams of omega-3s, right? Now, you can there's cod, all this other, they all have omega-3s, right? Seafood, fish, salmon just has the most richest. Now, let's say you're a vegan vegetarian. You don't want to do fish. You're a vegan, right? There's other sources. A high purity algae is also good of omega-3s, right? And what's good for these omega-3s from algae is they're not contaminated. Because with salmon, people are, the salmon, big fish. So they may get some mercury contamination just from the ocean, right? So people are afraid of that. And they use that. And these pharmaceutical companies are going to tell you, oh, you got mercury. You're going to get mercury poison if you eat salmon. And what they don't tell you is in all vaccinations, there's mercury. in all vaccinations, pharmaceutical companies intentionally poison you, intentionally put mercury into the vaccination. They don't tell you that, but they'll tell you, hey, salmon gets contaminated with mercury. That's why you shouldn't eat salmon, right? Anyways, I'll stop on this little rant. I apologize. So let's come back to the data. Okay. So if you're a vegan, you can get omega-3s from algae. So from a diet standpoint, what should you do? Okay. I'm going to pause a second. If you haven't subscribed to us, hit the subscribe channel. If you have questions, I've got the live chat open. You can always ask questions on the live chat, and I'll answer them as I get them. Okay. Let's see. Diet. Swap out omega-6s. You want to swap out omega-6s like peanut oil for nuts that are higher in omega-3s. Remember, omega-6 cause increase in inflammation. Omega-3s decrease inflammation. You want more omega-3s if you have chronic inflammation, right? So what are omega-3 nuts? Almonds, walnuts. Seafood, swap out your pizza for seafood, fish, and sushi. If you need to have beef, get grass-fed beef because they have more omega-3s than GMO and hormone-fed beef. Phospholipids. So here's another type of omega-3s. Phospholipids are another type of fats, fatty acids. They are a complex form of fat, just another fat, just another type of fat, phospholipids. Why are phospholipids important? Because they are a structural fat. Remember, early in another podcast of mine, I shared there are two main functions of fat: storage fat and structural fat. Phospholipids are structural fats. They help build your structure, which are super important, right? They provide all the brain cell membranes. So they make those membranes of your cells super important, right? To keep their shape, strength, and elasticity. And they are made mostly of omega-3s. So where can you get these phospholipids? Fish, right? Crustaceans, crabs, krill, eggs. So earlier I said, what's the point? Eggs have gotten a bad rap because of the sugar industry. Sugar industry in the 60s, I believe, paid off Harvard scientists to manipulate research to say that cholesterol is the cause of heart disease. And so that's why in the 60s, here in the US, everybody was on a low-fat diet. And that was paid for by the sugar industry, manipulated research, right? You can Google this. All this stuff is Googleable, right? So now they found out after the US, the sugar industry changed the way that the US ate. So people started eating more carbs and low fat. And then everybody started getting diabetes. So now people are realizing, oh, crap. The sugar industry fooled us all. Carbs the sugar industry caused our type 2 diabetes in the US. And now they're saying, oh, no, you need cholesterol, right? And eggs that were thought that egg yolk, everybody's like, oh, take the egg yolk away. You only eat the egg whites. Now they're realizing through research, depending on which research you want to believe, right? Now they're realizing, oh man, we are all wrong. So current research is not necessarily always right. It depends on who pays for it, right? So again, mine is based off, what research am I basing off? Reality-based research. Reality-based research is based off of people who are living today, right now, living the life, okay? These people, blue zone, they'd eat eggs. Eggs are great for you. Eggs are actually pack the biggest punch for phospholipids. They contain 10 grams. For every 100 grams of egg yolk, there's 10 grams of phospholipids. That equates to, that's broken down to 230 milligrams of omega-3s. So of all animal foods that are available to us, eggs are the best for the brain nutrition. So eat more eggs. Eggs are to animals what berries are to plants, right? And why is that? Because think about eggs. Eggs, they're growing a little animal. So they contain all sorts of nutrients needed to develop bones, muscles, brain, spinal cord, right? They got all the best nutrients. They got memory-forming choline. They got omega-3. They got complete protein, vitamins, minerals, disease-fighting antioxidants like lutein, zeaxanthin, Eggs has it all because developing organisms need it all. So eggs are perfect, the best nutrient pack. They're a superfood. Remember Rocky Balboa? That's why he drank like 5 eggs every single day. Okay. So when we say eggs, we usually refer to chicken eggs, but it can be any eggs, quail eggs, fish eggs. So out of all the eggs, which are the best? Fish eggs. Fish eggs are the best source. 1 tablespoon of fish eggs contains 1 gram of omega-3s. So you need 4 grams per day. You just need 4 tablespoons. You need 6 grams. I would say 6 grams to reverse aging in your brain. 6 tablespoons of caviar. Fish eggs or caviar. 6 tablespoons of that. And you will get 6 grams of omega-3s, right? Now, vegetarians, vegans, you can get it from sweet peas, cucumbers, oats, whole wheats, barley, soybeans. Everybody's, here in the US, they want to say that soybeans are terrible for you. Well, yeah, the ones that are genetically modified, which are made here in the US, those are terrible for you. But organic soybeans are great for you, great source of omega-3s. You can get ALA. Remember, omega-3s have 3 main, ALA, DHA, EPA. ALA sources are from oils from flaxseed, chia seeds, hemp seeds. But the problem is this. Those flaxseed, chia seeds, and hemp seeds are great for you, but they contain ALA. ALA needs to be converted to DHA, which is not a very efficient process because you lose 75% of ALA is lost in process, right? But I'm not saying don't do those seeds. They're still good, right? Still good sources. And the last thing for today I will go over is monounsaturated fats, right? Some studies have shown that a high consumption of monounsaturated fats help with cognitive function. So what are monounsaturated fats? Olive oil, avocados. They help lower risk of dementia. In these studies, people consumed at least 24 grams of fat per day had an 80% reduced risk of Alzheimer's as compared to those who consume 15 grams or less. So if you consume 24 grams of fat, omegas, right, you have an 80% reduced risk of Alzheimer's compared to if you only eat 15 grams, right? So it only takes about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Only 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, so hopefully this was beneficial. We need to get a summary. Eat more fish, eat your eggs, olive oil is good, avocado is good, right? You need to focus more on omega-3s. You don't need to worry about getting omega-6s because if you just eat out in the restaurants, you're automatically getting omega-6 without even trying. So what I say in developed countries, you need to focus on omega-3s, anti-inflammatory foods, eating them, right? Now, can you get them through a supplement? Absolutely. I take one, right? I take a omega-3 supplement. Now, omega-3s have many different functions besides just for the brain, right? For your nervous system. It actually is an anti-inflammatory for your joints. So if you want to do EPA, if you have joint pain, you want to do EPA. So I take this triglyceride version of omega-3s. There's 1,000 milligrams. Let's see. There's 662 milligrams of EPA. DHA, there's 250 milligrams. So this form of fish oil supplement that I take is more for anti-inflammatory for joints because I work out, I play tennis, pickleball, and so I inflame my joints. So I use this instead of Advil, ibuprofen. I don't take any medications. And so I use omega-3s as my natural anti-inflammatory. Okay, so these are just some of the things. Hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you get your friends to subscribe. I will see you same time, Sundays, 8:30 Central Standard Time, same bat channel, same bat time. I'll see you then.